And we now welcome in Corey Winkoff of FLG Lacrosse. And by now you know, he's our correspondent for all things happening in the Lax world down on Long Island. Corey, thanks for coming on today.
Meg, thank you for having me as always. This is like my favorite, 10 minutes a week. This is really good. You get to talk about, and the dream team's back together.
Yes, of
me
course.
And you, and it's good. I'm excited.
Right, so let's just get right to it and have some fun, okay?
Cool.
We were up to our elbows yesterday at LSN with the MLL draft coverage, but thank goodness you're here because I know that you are checking out two big games on the island. We'll start first with the String King game of the week, Commack taking on Northport. Big win for the Port, or was this kind of expected?
So I think going in, they might have been the slight underdogs based on, the lineup of both the teams. That being said, Northport has won this crosstown rivalry for as far as we can really remember and as far as it's been recorded. So I think that's why they might have actually had the edge in this game. They were also in front of a home crowd at a pretty cool park where they play all their games on a nice turf stadium. So I think the fact that Northport won wasn't a complete shocker, but Commack is a really good team. They've got some really good senior leadership, some great players. I'll highlight, Bobby Abshire, Logan Tobias, two stud midfielders, some of the better ones in Suffolk County, who did everything they could. It just wasn't enough against a Northport team that's always really well coached. George Searing does a great job with this group. And then two players of the game that stood out I just want to talk about is Sal Michio for Northport. He had 4 goals and 1 assist. He's only a sophomore. He's not even committed, but he'll definitely start. Yeah, he'll be on people's radar just because of his abilities and his size. He's a good player. And then their goalie, Lucas Alper, he had over 13 saves in the game. He's a senior going to Wingate, so that really helped Northport kind of take control and win that game.
All right, so there was that game, and then there was Ward Melville and Half Hollow Hills, which was a close game.
Yeah, that was a 1-goal game. So Half Hollow Hills East, so there's 2 schools. You got East and West. Okay. East is the team that was ranked a little bit higher going into the season. Melville, as you know, was our one seed in Suffolk County on the boys' side, and probably I would say is the best team on Long Island, top to bottom. But Hills was up 7-3 with only 50 seconds left, so they held them to 3 goals for pretty much 99% of the game. Ward Melville rattled off 3 goals, but it just wasn't enough. They ended up losing by a goal. Definitely want to give a shout out to the defensive coordinator for Hills East, Justin O'Connell, just because he's a brilliant coach. He's done a really good job in his first year with this group, and holding Melville to 3 goals for almost an entire game is something to be noticed. So I just want to give a shout out to him and that whole defense, because that's a huge win, beating the #1 undefeated team, Ward Melville.
Oh, that sounds great. All right, now let's switch gears to the girls' side. You had a handful of games you wanted to mention. Going back to last Saturday with Cold Springs Harbor and then Garden City through yesterday as well.
Yeah, well, I got to give Garden City credit. They've had 2 really big wins over the last week here, beating a really good St. Anthony's team, probably your best private school team on the island here, and then beating a great Cold Spring Harbor team who just had a great win against Long Beach. So Garden City, after that tough loss early in their season that we mentioned to Syosset, they seem to really they're really starting to figure it out, led by Jen Majid, who's one of the better players here on the island, and I think Garden City is slowly getting better and better each week, which is something that we've seen year in and year out. So definitely want to highlight that one. And then Northport West Islip is always a great matchup. 2 kind of blue-collar towns, 2 Class A schools, meaning that they're some of your bigger schools, big student population out in Suffolk. So a lot of girls that can really play the game. Northport ended up winning by a goal. Got to give a shout out to Carol Rose, who's just done an amazing job with this program, and she seems to always win those 1-goal games, especially during the regular season, just because they are so well coached and disciplined in those tight situations. And then Syosset with another big win. I know we talked about them earlier, beating Garden City. Now they beat Massapequa, undefeated. That's kind of like your second best team in the Power Conference. So Syosset has some really clutch wins throughout the season, even though dropping 1 to Long Beach. So that's a team to look out for as we move closer into the playoffs.